Hello all, welcome to the channel after a brief gap. Now today we will be handling on this, discussing on this national education policy implementation. Yesterday and the day before yesterday there was a hot news where the implementation phase has been started in a vigorous manner since after this national education policy has been drafted towards the higher education, improvement of the higher education and reshaping the educational structure and the system of our country. So now let us go forward to look about this NEP implementation. So what are the key highlights for this implementations in the next year, where they are being already being implemented on this MHRD being renamed into Ministry of Education, and now there will be a single entry system where there will be a common entrance test for all this admission of higher education institutions, where it is going to be a common entrance test to be written for the educational institute, whether it is going to be a disciplinary of engineering disciplines or other arts discipline. Everywhere we are going to be having a single entry in for the admission of their graduations and the postgraduate programs. And the next will be setting up of the higher education commission, where in which now it has been uh, stated in this NEP of restructuring the UGC University Grants Commission, the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, and then the All India Council for Technical Education. All these three bodies are going to be clubbed together so that there will not be a separate body in order to have the accreditations and the assessment of their colleges and the various educational institutions. And now they are also going to be a revamp on these three bodies that are to be reshaped into National Higher Education Regulatory Council, where in which all the three of which UGC, the main bodies of UGC and the AICTE, are going to be clubbed and collaborated together, so that they are going to be revisiting the each and every body so far have been revised and reframed of their guidelines to be followed in the next coming year. And now, what is this National Higher Education Regulatory Council? So, where we are going to be adopting a single window for all the regulations being accreditations being given for this higher education institutions. So, for previously till now, we are having this UGC and the ICT as the governing body, and now after the implementation of collaboration and the merger of both the educational bodies, so there will be a single system in which there will be a uniform structure and uniform regulations and the authoritative bodies that will be functioning, so that they are going to be giving the licensing and other accreditation procedures to be followed for the higher education institution. But excepting this medical and the law institutions, all other institutions are going to be under the single window of this National Higher Education Council. And now this UGC and AICT is going to be collaborated and renamed as this National Higher Educational Regulatory Council. And now we are already having the National Assessment Accreditation Council. Now this assessment has been removed and National Accreditation Council is going to be done. So the body will be stating about various accreditation guidelines being proceeded and given for the education institution and the colleges and all the universities, and the proper transparency and disclosure of all the structure of their institutions of infrastructure, other details of their programs, and what are the course curriculum syllabus, the faculty standards will be upgraded, the research facilities will be enhanced. Everything will be in a transparent manner when they are going to be reshaping the NAP, as the assessment is going to be taken away and only accreditation will be there. And in order to get the good governance and the outcomes of this benefited will be there when they are being stating about the reframing of the NAP as National Accreditation Council. And the next we are having this Higher Education Grants Council, and the General Education Councils. So all these two are going to be an important area where in this Higher Education Grants Council they are going to be funding the grants for the projects and various fundings of setting up of new research institutions. So the main aim of reframing and restructuring the NEP is going to be of focusing on the practical exposure for the school education and also the college education, so that we are focusing on the upgradation of our educational system on par with the world class standards and financing of the institutions. So whether it is going to be a government aided or self financing institutions, so that can be governed under this Higher Education Grants Council. And there is another General Education Council. We are going to be stating that about the learning outcomes. So now in this present era, where we are also having other bodies such as the National Board for Accreditation (NBA) is there, and this body is also going to be restructured as the General Educational Council, where they are going to be stating about the expected learning outcomes. So now this national education policy is going to be focusing mainly on making them practically exposed, so that it is going to be implementing the outcome based education. So the OBE system, the outcome based education system, is going to be thoroughly implemented at the school level, higher school level, middle school, the primary school, and also the higher educational institutions, so that they are going to be stating about the expected learning outcomes after completion of the course by a student and by a individual, and also the graduate attributes that are being necessary for coining about the new innovative programs, so that are going to be offered in the forthcoming years. And this General Education Council is also going to be having the framework of National Higher Education Qualification Framework for the higher education. They are going to be studying and giving the guidelines for all the qualifications that are needed for the faculty members and at the various higher levels of education institutions. And there will be a transparency of functioning of all the education institutions when they are being revamped as this National Higher Education Qualification Framework. And the final thing which we are going to be having in this professional councils, where they are going to be having clubbing all the other associations and the bodies relating to the research. So we have this Indian Council for Agricultural Research, so National Council for Teachers Education, and Council of other areas, and National Council for Veterinary and Educational Training. And we are also having ICSSR. Everything is going to be clubbed under this professional councils, where they are being separately registered for the social science and the research purposes. So these are the national educational policy revamp that are going to be implemented. So the practical implementations are being started right away after the draft of the uh, national educational policy. So thank you. Please like and subscribe my channel.